franchisees are not focused on selling in their market, why they started to franchise. We really want to help those franchisees hit the ground running.
Before you explore franchise options, take a few minutes to understand how you are wired. The assessment link is below. Welcome to Franchise Focus, where we go beyond the franchise brochure, exploring the people, the business, and ideas shaping today's franchise world. Today, we're talking about something almost everyone can relate to: clutter. Most people think clutter is simply an inconvenience, but it's much more than that. It's a time problem when you're constantly searching for things. It's a money problem when you're buying duplicates. And it's a space, and you don't use your space effectively, actually. And it's a stress problem that I know that affects how you feel in your own home. DDH Home Organizing and Move Management has built an entire business around solving that problem, helping clients through everything from organizing their homes to downsize to moving, estate transitions, and other major life events. So joining me today is Kim Moreno, Senior Director of Franchise Development with Franchise Fastlane. Kim has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs evaluate franchise opportunities and recently became a franchise owner herself, giving her a very unique perspective on what separates a good franchise system from the others. Kim, welcome to Franchise Focus.
Laura, thank you so much for having me. This is such a great opportunity.
Looking forward to this. So I, gave probably a long introduction, but I love the idea of the space. I think we all are victims. In fact, just this weekend, I found myself that I bought 4 extra of something and I had to run it back. Anyway, silly stuff, right? And I tend to be one that throws things out before I check. But if you can walk us through a bit about the founders, how they started this, and in a bit of your background as well, that would be really great.
So DDH is a really unique business. It's a mother-daughter duo, Kate and Ann, and they really created this business based on what the market needed. So they tell a story that 14 years ago, they were kind of getting started with home organizing, and they walked into a realtor's office. And they had a luncheon scheduled, and they were going to introduce what DDH has to offer as kind of like get the home ready for a sale. And that was what they were planning to do. And then before they got to like their presentation, they whispered, or Anne told Kate, whatever they say yes, we'll figure it out later. And then they really shaped this business based on everything that the real estate agents needed in a business. Can you help with hauling junk? Can you help organizing? Can you help managing everything? And they created a white glove service for the clientele who recognizes there's a problem, but doesn't want to manage all of these pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking of a move, for example, you're filling boxes, you're moving boxes to a new location, but it's so much more than that. Because are you filling boxes with everything on your desk? Or are you going to go through your desk and make sure that you're only taking the things that you want to unpack later on? And then the things that you're not doing, are you going to be the one who schedules the big garbage truck outside that's going to pick up all of that junk? No, I'm busy. I'm doing a full-time job. I'm outsourcing this to a project manager who's going to wear all of the hats and make sure that this project is managed the way it should be. And that's how DDH started 14 years ago in New York City. And they say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. But they kind of see this as if we can make it in New York, we can figure it out to be everywhere. Because in most other markets, you don't have to worry about how do I get this grand piano out of the 14th floor in busy New York traffic in a snowstorm. They figured it out. They have the plans for these types of problems. So now this is now duplicatable in every market.
Got it. So their target ideal customer is who
we
is
are
that?
That luxury customer. This is a luxury service. Everyone needs this. In fact, if you're listening to this podcast and you say, I don't need this, you are probably that type A person who has this all under control. And then I would tell you, most of the world is not like you. Most people struggle in how do I keep track of all of my stuff? How do I create systems so I don't end up with too much stuff? DDH is there to help those folks. But our customer is not the type of person who will look online and DIY. Our customer is the surgeon who's working 80 hours a week and they don't have time to do it themselves, or the surgeon's wife who is busy with her family and organizing a family schedule for a week. She doesn't have the time or the know-how or the desire to do this. So we will outsource it, the luxury service, white glove service, to get it all done for them in a professional way. That's the market for DDH.
Okay. So how are franchisees finding their clients?
It's twofold. The first is going to be the digital marketing. What is very interesting when you start franchising in this type of industry, you pay money for your own personal SEO, and then you
Mm-hmm.
realize none of the mom and pops are spending any money on SEO in this space. So when a franchisor comes into the space with that marketing muscle, we're the only ones who are spending SEO in that market, most likely. So then that's going to generate some of the revenue. What really makes us stand apart from any competitors out there is DDH offers let's say a sales support arm. It's almost like a call center, but they are going to be that first level of connection when somebody wants more information about DDH in that market. They'll talk to the call center first. The call center will help navigate what that project really looks like and then pass on the warm lead to the franchisee. So franchisees are not focused on selling in their market. They're really just creating that network of other business professionals like real estate agents and estate planners and senior facility owners.
Mm-hmm.
So you become the referral if their customer already needs the service. The other part of marketing is coming from that grassroots market. So it's either going to be digital online, but then they get funneled through the call center,
Mm-hmm.
or it's through the referral business.
Right. Excellent. Okay. And do people are franchisees going to be concerned? Is there a big enough market for this and
That's a
every
great
of
question.
customers?
DDH is not looking to be everywhere. We're looking to be everywhere where people would use this. So we're really only going into that luxury market. We're going to make sure that you have at least 50,000 homes with a median household income of a certain threshold to make
Okay.
sure that there's enough meat on the bone. Now, when candidates go through this discovery process, they're going to see this is a very affluent business. Our corporate business did only 180 projects in calendar year 2025. They brought $1.3 million to the top line. That New York City market is not going to be the same as every market across the country.
Right.
But even if you do the math, we don't have to do many jobs to make significant impact from a financial perspective, that is.
Gotcha. Right. Right. And the referring partners, is there a relationship there, or how do you get someone to say, yeah, I'm going to try you out?
It's part of what that grassroots marketing is. When somebody is the owner in a territory, part of the playbook is introduce yourself to the commercial real estate agents and the estate planners, get to know them. Now, DDH, from a social media perspective, we have over 200,000 followers across our networks. I would challenge everyone who's watching this podcast, take a look at DDH Home on Instagram. Give them because everyone has a messy garage. Why don't you follow them, find some tips to organize your own garage? Because we have that media credibility, it will translate to the local person who's going into their local real estate agent's office and to just introduce themselves. When they introduce DDH, there is already that massive following. DDH has been on Good Morning America and the New York Times. They have a lot of credibility. There's a New York best-selling book that tells you how to love your home again. That's the title if you want to check it out. But there is that national credibility who will help a franchisee who's buying into this business not be Kim Moreno organizing company. You have that
Gotcha.
media credibility. You have the name. People tend to trust you a little bit more.
Excellent. Excellent. So, is there a profile that you're ideally looking for that would be successful in this?
For a franchisee,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would love to say we are the business that's right for everybody. But if you are not a people person, you're not going to love this business. You want to be there. The type of people who love this business are the ones who love helping people,
Mm-hmm.
people who that's what fills their cup. Part of this business, now it might not be you actually in the home organizing somebody's closet. You might outsource that to your staff of people who will do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, you want to help make a difference in people's day. Part of
Right.
this is going to be you're helping. Gosh, if somebody just had a baby, you might be hired to help organize the baby space while they're in the hospital and then they come home to a fresh place. It could also be you're getting that frantic call from somebody across the country that you need to go and clean out the estate. You are there for people during their heaviest times. So it's got to be that empathetic, good listener, and then somebody who's really great at project management. There are a lot of moving parts that go along with this. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to identify those moving parts and organize it all to deliver white glove service. DDH has the playbook. You follow the playbook, and that's how it really gets done. But on top of all of that, We are a micro emerging brand. You know as well as I do. It takes a special kind of person who wants to be one of the first 10 franchisees to jump on board. You
Hmm.
gotta be that type of person who can figure it out. You have a figure it out ability. You're a hard worker. You have good interpersonal skills, and you don't want to have something created that you don't have any creativity in. If you
Right.
want to have a seat at the table, you might be the right fit for DDH.
See a lot of similarities in the type of owner and or business model to senior care. You've got to have the
Absolutely.
empathy, want to help people. I could even see it for people that have got very established senior care brands as an option to add on.
We are a great bolt-on business if they already have that clientele.
Okay,
Gosh, about 50, I don't want to say this wrong, but I think it's about 58% of revenue generated in 2025 came from estate cleanouts.
that's what I'm. Okay, good to know. When someone does start, are the model are they it, given that it could be a bolt-on business? Like how much time is it as an owner? What are they doing daily? Can they do this as and still own another business? That kind of thing.
When candidates meet the founders, Kate and Ann, they talk about how they have 4 territories. They are actively involved in those 4 territories less than 15 hours a week. Now, granted, they brought on a full-time office admin who helps handle a lot of the lead generation and answering calls and that kind of thing. But they're only 5 to 10 hours or 10 to 15 hours a week. They do have 4 territories. If you have 1 territory, it might be that same 10 to 15 hours until you ramp up to a second, third. If you want to go all in and buy the type of business that DDH has created in New York, you certainly can. Just know that when you're first starting, you might want to bring that office admin in from day one. If you're looking to do a 15-hour week, that's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously they've got their teams established at that point for every type of job, and so they're overseeing all the different keys. Do they any good stories they have of events that that mean a lot to them?
Yeah, gosh. They love to tell the stories of who they talk to, and I would hate to steal their thunder by stealing stories. But what I will tell you, about 44% of all revenue generated was from repeat business. A lot of customers will do memberships where they can come back seasonally, seasonal closet clean out or seasonal toy turnover. There are slower times of the year, like November, December, when people family in the house. They're not hiring you. They're hiring you before to organize the house or after to clean up all the nonsense that they just bought with the holiday shopping. But then
Right.
you do that membership where you come back 3, 4 times a year. That allows the customer to get the best value and allows franchisees to kind of budget and plan during the slower.
Oh, brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah. So very cool subscription model. What's any big tidbits they have, or is there one room specifically that people often overlook that they
I
always tackle
It's
first?
nothing that people would overlook because it's people are there every day. Like you live in your house, you know where there could be more systems in place. I would say this is not about creating pretty pantries or cool closets. This is really about handling the stress associated with the daily clutter.
Mm-hmm.
Clutter in the house can result in increased levels of cortisol, which can relate to increased weight gain. So, if I can do anything that might help bring my cortisol levels down, especially if you have young kids, you've got a lot of moving plates, a lot of plates in the air. DDH is just there to help you juggle it all.
Wow. I know I mean, I am that type A person. So I know, but so I really do stress.
If I were to turn off this background, you would see what's going on behind me.
Yeah. So, but I can so relate because there's times where you do get overwhelmed. You're busy, and you're like, it could pay to have somebody else take care of this for me, and they may do it differently. But I do really start stressing when there's too much around, and my brain gets completely cluttered. Never even thought about the physical impact that could be having on my body. But
Yeah. You had
stress
also
sets
mentioned the
crazy.
financial impact. You had mentioned that you're paying to buy things again, but it's more than that. Did you know, gosh, I think it's 40% of people are renting offsite storage, and then they never even go to that offsite storage. That's every month you're paying that bill that you might not ever actually need. DDH really wants to help people get all of this in order.
Excellent.
One other thing I would want to talk about is about the staffing model with
Okay.
DDH. This is a really interesting one. It's easy to say, DDH is making so much money because they've been around for so long. What's really interesting about this is you are only hiring your staff when you have actual projects going on. So from a staffing, who is the right organizer for DDH? In the 14 years the DDH corporate has been around, they have only hired exclusively women over the age of 45. The ideal employee for DDH is somebody who has already organized their own home and they are familiar with how stressful it can be when things are unorganized. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're investors, maybe they're looking to get back into the workforce, but they want the flexibility of part-time work. So at
Got it.
DDH, you'll bring them on as an employee of DDH. They're only going to work the 1, maybe 2 days a week that they actually have a job, and they love the flexibility.
Yeah.
You're paying them handsomely. In New York, they start at $50 an hour.
Wow. Very
It's
nice.
not a
Yeah.
bad side hustle for somebody who just wants that extra flexibility.
Yeah. No, I could see where that would really attract. That's awesome. What
But yeah,
else is in
and
Go ahead.
DDH corporate is bringing in about 26% to the bottom line. That's after paying the staff at $50 an hour. So it's a nice business model for somebody who wants to get in and help people.
Wow. What triggered for them that, okay, it's time to franchise this?
It's so funny. These are such lovely women. They had an online class where they were teaching because they would get followers from all over the country who would
Yeah.
reach out and say, "Could you do my house? I live in Idaho." They say, "No, we
Yeah.
can't travel there. Let's create an online course." And they had a course going for a little while. And then one of their friends told them, "Are you guys crazy? Don't
Yeah.
teach people how to organize their own home. Teach people how to do this business so they themselves can work the 10 to 15 hours from the pool that you ladies do. And they themselves can help employ all of these women who want to get back in the workforce but want the flexibility." So that's why they started to franchise.
I love it. Average investment someone would want to
If they
consider?
want one territory, it's somewhere between 79 and 99. So it's a low initial investment, but that's going to be part-time work with one territory. If they want to make full time in DDH, they want to buy 3, 4 territories, really based on what their market can support. Then we're
Right.
looking all in or under 220 all in.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
This is a good opportunity for your candidates who might have Louis Vuitton thoughts without a Louis Vuitton budget.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I love it. I think so many people could relate to this. And what a nice model that you have some flexibility. There's a lot of different opportunities. You are targeting the people that can afford this, that when economies change, they still can afford this. Yeah. What else is important to consider about this business?
Early on, people want to know, okay, well, 'cause they think seasonally in their own market. And they're thinking, okay, in my house, pretty soon I'm going to have to take a Christmas tree and I'm going to have to organize all of the seasonal decorations. Can DDH help with the organization of that? And Kate and Ann say, absolutely. When we first started, we would absolutely do those smaller jobs. Once you establish that clientele, you might not need to do the smaller job anymore. When you're first starting, you're going to want to be there for your customers, whatever that need might be.
I could see even connecting with handyman. My brain is spinning as you're talking about this.
Anyone who's in the home,
Yeah,
interior designers, they want to come in and do something beautiful, but I can't make that beautiful thing here. You've got too much stuff. DDH make it or manageable, said the interior designer. These are good partners to have. Part of the playbook, how to make partnerships in that community.
absolutely. That's so cool that they were offering the training for free. What's the biggest mistake they'll say people make before moving?
The
If
biggest mistake people do before doing that big move has to be, I'm just going to take everything with me. Because if it's stuff you haven't seen in years, you don't need it in your new house. Don't bring all that clutter to the new location. Do the organization before. Even when you're prepping your house to move, there's a big level of, this is where a lot of people think your ideal customer is going to be female. But sometimes it's going to be men who want to organize that house so they can get top dollar for it when they sell. In which case, they're going to want somebody like DDH to come in, make sure that that house is going to present as good as it can.
Excellent, excellent. And in terms, so they do the digital marketing for you. They've got that initial call. What other type of support training are they offering?
There is quite a bit, something like 60 hours of online training, how to do organization from the DDH perspective. It won't necessarily be for the business owner. It might be for their staff, just depending on what involvement the owner wants. But they are handling everything from a marketing perspective and that first line of the call center. We really want to help those franchisees hit the ground running. So we're giving them all the tools that they can so they can achieve that goal.
I imagine the referral business really starts picking up as well. I mean, just people that have used the service to other people that need it.
There's a lot of referrals with this. So that's another reason why we want to make sure every job that's delivered is delivered to as good as we can, because that referral
Right.
can be very meaningful.
For sure. When you're having initial conversations, what are you hoping the candidates are asking and or understanding in terms of this model?
Micro emerging brands are a little different. You have a seat at the table. 5 years from now, when franchisors are having meetings with all their franchisees and everyone is requesting something, who do you think they're going to answer first? Is it the first franchisee who is in the trenches with them from day one? Or is it franchisee number 105? There's a lot to be said for being one of the first 10. Risky, don't get me wrong. You have to know that you are the right type of person who's going to figure it out no matter what. If you are that type of person, why not get a seat at the table too?
Yeah, no, that's a great way to look at it and helpful for me as I'm thinking about when I'm talking to
Yes.
people. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of this model?
If you got you may hit the nail right on the head when you said this could be a good bolt-on business for the folks who have senior
Hmm.
care facilities already, or somebody who was about to sign on for that but didn't because of a something. We
Yeah,
might be that something.
that's a good point. I've got plenty of those. That's a really good point. Okay. Thank you. No, that's very, very helpful.
Gosh, Laura,
No,
thank you
I
so
like,
much for having me here. I hope
I
this is
just
helpful.
love it.
Kate and
It's
Anne are
so
such
helpful.
wonderful franchisors that we really want to do anything we can to get them the right candidates. That right candidate is going to be in good hands.
That's for sure. That sounds fantastic. Well, thank you again, Kim. I really have enjoyed this and learning a little bit more about this model always helps to present it effectively to to the right people. But
Appreciate the
look
time.
forward to chatting with you further.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me,
Sure.
guys. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Yep. Okay.